everyone, this is Jennifer Gray, and I am going to be discussing my curriculum improvement plan, which is part of my field-based project for my EDS 708 class at UNA. In this plan development, I did work with Madison County Schools, specifically Sparkman High School, and I worked very closely with Ms. Elizabeth Smith, who is Madison County's high school specialist, Mr. Chris Shaw, who is Sparkman High School's principal, and then my role is actually that of curriculum coordinator for the high school. So this is a plan that I work very closely with these two individuals throughout each year. So I hope you do find it informative, and we can go from there. Let me tell you a little bit about Sparkman. We do service about 1,800 students, and in our plan development, we do look at various pieces of assessment. But the driving force, as many of you know, is the new state report card. That is where we actually start. We look at that each year. Once we look at that, there are some assessment pieces that we make sure that we focus on. Those assessment pieces include, but do not limit to these four things: the college and career readiness standards, the pre-ACT, the ACT, and the work keys. Each one of these affects different grade levels. The pre-ACT, the reason we look at that gives us a starting point to see where our students are. At Sparkman High School, we are only grades 10 through 12, so we miss out on that 9th grade level to get to know them. So pre-ACT does give us a very good starting point to let us know where our 10th graders may be lagging behind in certain areas. So we do start with that, although when we write the plan, we typically focus primarily on ACT and work keys, along with those college and career readiness standards. So with that in mind, let's delve into the plan a little bit more. The focus of the plan, as I mentioned, does deal with ACT and college and career readiness. The reason I put college and career readiness there rather than work keys is because by the time students take work keys, they are seniors, and many of them are lacking other indicators at this point. Other indicators can include military, AP, IB, which we do not offer at Sparkman. So just keeping that in mind as we go through the plan. The focus of the plan is on our juniors and on our seniors. The persons responsible for the activities that are outlined in this plan, we do expect all of our teachers to work on that goal. We are extremely proactive in building that team network because it does take a village to raise a child. Also, every administrator, even though I'm the curriculum coordinator, I work very closely with the other administrators, and Sparkman has 6 administrators. That does include our principal. So we do have to work very, very closely. The timeline for this plan is August 2019, which is fast approaching, and we will go through May 2020. Unfortunately, some of the items that we use, we don't get the results till a little bit later. One of the other things with college and career readiness are the advanced placement courses and those scores, and we don't typically get those scores back until July. So even though I have this plan and we do plan to implement this plan, we may have to do some tweaking as when we have professional development days in August, even though we've started working on it now. Our curriculum improvement plan, we have 2 objectives, and this is our primary focus. The first objective, 25% of our 11th grade Black or African American students will achieve college and career readiness as measured by reaching the benchmark of ACT, of 22 on the ACT in the area of mathematics by 2020, as measured by the ACT mathematic benchmark scores. The reason we picked this subgroup is because that was our lowest scoring subgroup. Our second objective is 6% increase of 12th graders, economically disadvantaged students, will achieve college and career readiness measured by earning a silver certificate or higher in the English language arts by May 2020. And this will be measured using the ACT work keys. For those of you who do not know the timeline of when these tests are given, the ACT is typically given statewide in around this past year. It was given in February. And then work keys, luckily this past year we were able to give it in the fall, very early on, somewhere around October. We will be doing that again this year. And that does help us to identify early on those seniors who still need some help. And we do another push on work keys at the same time that we administer the ACT in February. So that does help us quite a bit there. Curriculum, as far as the curriculum improvement plan, our focus, we'll be focusing on grades 11 and 12, all students who have not credentialed. Persons responsible for the activities outlined, all classroom teachers, with increased focus in the areas of math and English. And of course, as I mentioned, administration does work very closely with this plan and implementation with our teachers. We are very lucky also to have our central office people who come in. Even though I just listed Elizabeth Smith, we also have Mr. Alan Perkins who works with other aspects of the program. Timeline again is August 2019 through May 2020. As far as what focuses we're going to be doing, we're going to be looking at professional learning communities. We have started this past year implementing these. We're going to expand those a little bit this upcoming year, and I'll discuss that in just a minute. And then tiered instruction. Our first strategy is the implementation and expansion of professional learning communities. This strategy will utilize professional learning communities to assist with data reviews, development of common assessments, and electronic unit plans. The strategy will be implemented by allowing departments to meet 2 to 3 times per month in an uninterrupted setting to review data, discuss classroom strategies, review lesson plans, and this year we will be developing common assessments because this past year they did identify essential standards. And of course we continually have to look at those, but we will go from there and develop some common assessments. And our hope is that that will help us to better serve our students. Each month a selected topic will be given an area of focus and will be used to assist in developing and continuing to work in those communities. Some activities that this will include: cross-curricular activities. This is to allow some real-life applications because, as we know, many of these students who are not benchmarking either in ACT or work keys need those real-life examples. This will help reiterate those basic academic supports. Also, as I just mentioned, common assessments. Our departments will work in PLCs to develop common assessments based on the essential standards. They finalized the essential standards at the end of last year, and although we will go back and look at those, they will start utilizing those essential standards to put in and implement that common assessment piece. And our final activity here are implementation of bell ringers, specifically in the math department, to help focus on ACT style questioning because a lot of students struggle with that. As far as what standard this strategy hits, I feel like it does best fit strategy 3 because of the knowledgeable practicing professionals forming those learning communities and working in collaborative teams to develop those common assessments. Strategy 2. This strategy does focus on tiered instruction, which is something we are actually revamping and updating with the upcoming year. Teachers will implement instructional supports and tiered instruction by identifying seniors who have not earned a silver certificate or higher on the ACT work keys. These students will receive academic support, remediation through bell ringers, tiered instruction through RTI, and instructional software for intervention. Students will also have the opportunity to retake needed sections of the ACT work keys, which I've already hit on a little bit earlier in this presentation. The two activities, first of all, taking and identifying those students after the fall administration, as far as what level of certification they hit. Teachers will start identifying those students and working specifically with those. The second activity, our English department will specifically work on bell ringers for this. And again, this is to help them to understand the style of questioning that they might see in work keys. And we hope that will better assist them. As far as our math, we're actually going to implement a math enrichment class this year because of those new math standards that's coming down for the next school year, to help those who have been identified as needing that extra push. And they will actually go to an enrichment class that's paired with their math class. We will also utilize that to send our students who are receiving RTI services to try to better assist them and improve in other areas, not just math. As far as which standard I feel this strategy hits, I think it better fits Standard 5, and this is the knowledgeable practicing values and plan for diversity and curriculum development, instructional strategies, and the promotion of social consciousness. My reflections. This year, as I mentioned earlier, I do this plan every year with my team and my teachers. As far as the pros for this class, it has assisted me in taking a deeper look in how my system implements certain areas of our curriculum. And it also helps me to consider new ways to work with my teachers in all my departments and to work with my central office staff to maybe implement some new ideas that we may not have thought about. As far as cons of this plan and the class itself, the biggest con I have for the plan is making sure to set aside time that we look at it throughout the year, not just throwing these standards out and saying this is how it is, because we will need to review and revamp as needed as we start to get new scores, because we may have to modify some of our activities just a bit. That does conclude my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative, and I appreciate you listening. Thank you.